Sheriff, great to have you with us, sir.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it, and good morning to your listeners.
All right, give us your take on the debate last night. And before we end, we got to get to the Cubs playoff game today. Astros won their game, beat the Twinkies, so I feel good about it. We got to get to that at the end, but start with the debate.
Well, I think like most of these every 4 years, I think more is made out of it than actually happens. I recall last time, 4 years ago, during the debates, people were saying Trump has to be careful because he doesn't want to appear to be beating up on a woman, and that might backfire, all this stuff. So in the first debate, he goes soft. Those same people that were saying that were disappointed, and they said he's got to be more aggressive. He's got to go at her. So, you get that kind of back and forth all the time. I had no problem with the president's approach. Look, that's who he is. That's what got him here. That's the only way you can survive in this snake pit of an environment in Washington, D.C., and that's what he's used to, is going up against the liberal media. I get tired of people referring to it as bullying. I think that term is overplayed. Look, he has what's called the bully pulpit, and he should use it because it gives him a leg up when he needs it. So, it's all part. As far as I'm concerned, it's emasculation of men. This wussification of men. He's bully. Oh, he's a bully. Oh, he's a bully. You know what? Time to man up. Joe's a man. Get in there. Joe can stand up. Time to put your big boy pants on and fire back. I'm hearing a lot of that this morning from callers here in local Milwaukee that claim to be Trump supporters and say, "Oh, I didn't like it. It was embarrassing. Trump was embarrassing." No, he wasn't. Trump's a brawler, for heaven's sake. He's a brawler from Queens, and that's how he came off last night. That is who Trump is.
Okay, one thing that Bannon said is, because we got a lot of pushback last night on my network from suburban women saying they didn't like his style and it was too aggressive. Steve Bannon just made an excellent point. He said, you know what? You're not getting those votes anyway. They were gone in 2016. Orange man bad. They're not going to vote for him. So, it is what it is. We have to go after other votes. Do you agree with that or not?
Wholeheartedly. Steve and I have talked about this, and I had made mention of it as well as some of the other demographics that I don't believe they should chase. It's okay to court them, but don't chase them. Suburban women did not put Donald Trump in the White House in 2016. Black voters did not put Trump in the White House in 2016. So you don't kick them to the curb and throw it out the window, but you don't adjust greatly because you will turn off your base. And when you're trying to win an election, and I'm a veteran at elections, I ran in 4 of them in Milwaukee County, a county of 1 million people. Tie down your base. Get your base stoked up. Energize, mobilize your base. So that's what my recommendation would be. Go after your base, the people that put Trump in the White House, the middle class, middle America, white males. Yeah, that's who put him in the White House. The suburban woman thing, I'm tired of that too, John. They don't like Trump. They never liked Trump. They have a reason for not liking Trump, and that's what it is. They don't like his approach. They think he's mean. All this nonsense. Politics is a contact sport. Right. I didn't make it that way. That's the way it is. It's either hit or be hit in politics. Sometimes you're going to eat bear, and sometimes the bear is going to eat you. That's the political environment today.
We're going to open the phone lines. Anybody wants to join the conversation, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. We're with Sheriff David Clarke. You can go to americasheriff.com, americasheriff.com. I want to get your take on Cut 10 here. Let's get the Cut 10, Kira, if you will. Joe Biden claiming Antifa is an idea, not an organization. Why don't you tell that to the store owners that have had their businesses destroyed, their cities burned down, graffiti written all over the place. They come out, they pull up in trucks with riot gear. Some kind of an idea that is. Okay, let's get to Cut 10, Antifa and Biden.
The National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay.
But they don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to do
specifically
that, but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
malicious. That's what his FBI. His FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
When a bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in your administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous,
all right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
We're now moving on to the Trump and Biden records.
They'll overthrow you.
When a president, I'm going to ask.
There he is again, Sheriff Clarke. As soon as Biden got into trouble with Antifa, there's Chris Wallace again bailing him out, changing the subject, and cutting Trump off. I mean, it was just obscene what he did last night. Go ahead.
Yeah. Chris Wallace shouldn't have been arguing with and he's the one that was badgering and bullying Trump all night, but he shouldn't have been doing that with either of the contestants. He's up there specifically saying, well, you condemn Proud Boys and white supremacists. I don't know what Chris Wallace is talking about in terms of these generic white supremacists. First of all, why didn't he ask Joe Biden, will you tonight denounce the violence from Black Lives Matter and from Antifa? Why didn't he ask him specifically about that? All right? For Joe Biden to sit up here, to stand up there last night and say that Antifa is an idea, I couldn't figure out what the hell he was talking. What do you mean an idea? They are a domestic terror organization, just like the Marxist-Leninist Black Lives Matter.
He also didn't ask him, okay, are you going to denounce Black Lives Matter? Because on their website, they want to destroy the traditional American family. They want to get rid of fathers, plus they're a Marxist organization. Are you going to denounce that? He didn't ask that question either, but he asked Trump about, are you going to tell your militias to stand down? What are you talking? What militias?
Yeah, right.
What the hell are you talking about? I mean, it was so rigged last night. And I tell you the other thing that infuriated me, and I was watching it with a friend of mine, Den, last night, that infuriated me, is until we got to Law and Order, every single question was designed to put Trump on the offensive and give Biden offense until they finally got to Law and Order. The only legit question that Biden asked, actually, that Wallace asked Biden last night, the only legit question was, did you call any of the Democratic mayors up? And Biden's answer was, well, I'm not in office, so I can't call them up. What? You don't have a phone that dials out? And then Wallace dropped that. He just dropped it.
What the hell was Biden doing in Kenosha, Wisconsin after the riots if he's not in office yet? All right. That was a typical weasel your way out of an answer. You don't have to be in office. When you're campaigning, you have every reason, it's not a right, you have every reason to be consulting with mayors and governors and other political leaders in your area, especially when you're making those campaign stops. Those people come out to see you, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But Chris Wallace should have also asked Joe Biden, will you denounce tonight Black Lives Matter, that Marxist organization? Would you tell them to stand down and stop advocating for the killing of police officers, and how shameful that behavior was when 2 L.A. County Sheriff's deputies were ambushed in their cruiser, and people were cheering at the hospital hoping that these 2 officers would die. He should have gotten that specific about that slimy group, Black Lives Matter, but he didn't. So some of the stuff was, I thought was irrelevant even for this sort of debate. Some of the questions, and Wallace said he put the questions together, but some of them for this type of debate, they made no sense.
Well, and then, look, Sheriff, I mean, what did we have? We had an hour and a half. There were at least 15 to 20 minutes of everybody talking over each other, including Wallace. I mean, there were times in that debate where all three people were talking at the same time, which was also a waste of time because you can't understand what anybody's saying. Wallace was a complete catastrophe last night, and he's a fraud, and he's a phony, and he shouldn't even be on Fox. He shouldn't even have his own show. I mean, it should be an opinion show. That's all he is. He's an opinion commentator. He's no more of a journalist than the cup I'm having my coffee out of. The guy's a complete fraud. All right, let's get right to the phone lines with Sheriff David Clarke with us. Let's get to Rufus, the Democrat in Richmond. Rufus, you're live.
Hey, how you doing, John? It's a great day to be a Democrat. I got to say, your guy really looked unhinged last night. Joe didn't necessarily look so well, but Trump certainly looked terrible. Whoever it is that's coordinating his debate performance really needs to kind of polish that up because he's not going to win any fans acting that way. And, you know, I think I tend to agree when they use language like telling each other to shut up or trying to, overspeak one another. It just doesn't, it's not presidential. Neither one of them looked presidential, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, being a Democrat, I wouldn't want either one of them as a president, but your guy definitely looked unhinged, and it appears to me that the Republicans are doing a major amount of damage control today because they realize that their guy just looked so terrible last night.
I didn't think it was Trump's best performance. I didn't think he was prepared enough. I thought there was a lot of things that he could have answered, but really his debate last night was with Wallace, not with Biden. But Rufus, I agree with you 100%. Yelling at each other, calling each other stupid, then a clown, then shut up. It's just gross, and it diminished for me the whole thing. But I want to thank you for that and get Sheriff Clarke's reaction. Hey, Sheriff, by the way, this is the guy, Rufus, who always comments when you're on. You drive him bat crap crazy.
Well, a typical response from a Democrat. You know, no matter what the president would have done last night, Rufus there would have found something to pick at. That's all 2020 hindsight.
Come on, Sheriff Clarke. Wait a
minute. I'm still talking, sir. I didn't interrupt you. Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sheriff.
I think that I don't think any votes changed last night. I don't think President Trump lost any of his supporters. I don't think that Biden lost any of his supporters. These things are a wash. That's why when I opened up, I said much more is made of these things than we know. By the time the third debate, if it happens, is over, we will have forgotten about the debates going into the last couple of weeks of the election. And the election in the final days, it's all about turnout. Who can mobilize and energize their base to get to the polls or early voting, absentee, whatever you want to do. That's what it comes down to. I don't know that anybody goes to the poll or pulls out their ballot and says, let's see, how did this contestant do in debate number 2? So I just think that, it's good stuff to talk about the day after. There's not much else to talk about anyway, but in the end, this will fade from our memory.
All right, Sheriff, I'm going to give Rufus the final word. Rufus, go ahead.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm no fan of Sheriff Clarke's. Every week when he's on, I do nothing but criticize his commentary. I've got to say that this election is going to come down to rolling out your base. I got to hand it to Sheriff Clarke on that. His take on that is correct. It's all about the base.
Right. It's about mobilization now, not persuasion. I agree with both of you. I don't think that last night's debates change anybody's mind, but I'm going to continue to go on record as saying that I was appalled by the rudeness on both sides. I just don't think it's a good thing. It makes me uncomfortable. I hate it. Other than that, it is what it is. Okay. Let's get to Colonel Mike. Colonel Mike, you got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, I agree with Clarke, man. He's a brawler, and that's who he is, and that's how he got there. And you know what? Like he said, he's not going to capture any suburban women. If they're for Joe, they're for Joe. What are you going to do? I mean, what else can you say, John?
Okay.
Trump looked a little arrogant. His facial expressions, if he wasn't properly prepared. That was Trump on Trump. What was that story? Somebody wrote that book, Let Trump Be Trump, right?
Right. I thought the president had numerous opportunities to
He
outline
did.
some of the things he did. I think what the one thing he missed is when he was asked about racism and he attacked Biden's record. He had 2 minutes. He should have spent at least 1 minute talking about all the great things he's done, justice reform, etc. He didn't do that. But, Colonel, thank you for your comment. We're out of time with this segment. I want to thank Sheriff David Clarke. Go to americasheriff.com, americasheriff.com. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network.